He worked Ben White.
Oh, Ben White in there, Odegaard also in there.
Chalner.
It's a new season, and maybe we've seen a new Martin Odegaard. He definitely hasn't been himself for the last couple of seasons. A couple of seasons ago, I thought he was getting to the level of sort of what Kevin De Bruyne was doing for Manchester City. He really was pulling the strings for Arsenal. It just didn't happen for him in the last couple of seasons. Being as himself, but as I said, I really enjoyed him at the end of last season. Enjoyed him in the World Cup as well. He was outstanding last weekend as well in the Community Shield. Same again here.
Solis, Calafiori, thumped by Solis, who had Odegaard for perhaps unwanted company.
Yeah, good chance again, Atkinson. Really good. Arsenal. It's been all Arsenal. Arsenal has been fantastic night. We've got power, energy, strength. They're showing, Arsenal showing why they are champions. A good chance from Arsenal. But Coventry were defending and blocking that ball. But Arsenal are showing why they are champions. And Arsenal are going for the corner here, Clinton.
Solis.
Oh!
Saka couldn't get a shot away, and out come Coventry in their numbers, led by De Silva. Went over, and Evite was at his back, and was penalised. And here comes a Coventry change. Coming on here is the Danish midfield player, Victor Torp, who was very often a substitute in the Championship. He replaces the Ghanaian debutant, Calafiori. Scored Victor Torp in the last 2 games of last season against Wrexham and at Watford. He got 2 of the 7 goals they scored against Queen's Park Rangers this weekend last year. Solis. Skelly. Pushed out by Thomas. Sims was able to turn and face Mosquera. There's no route around Declan Rice. Weke is preparing to come on for Arsenal. Just have a free week ahead of them. Once we're into September, there won't be many of those. Champions League group draw at the end of this week. Solis, Havertz, that ball by Bobby Thomas.
Solis adds all a spin, excellent, hasn't he? Premier League debut in Arsenal.
He is the Trossard replacement. There'll be those coming to the conclusion after this first hour in an Arsenal shirt in the Premier League that he may be a Trossard upgrade. Clash with the
Oh,
corner.
Arsenal.
Rushworth couldn't get access to the ball. Slice! Rushworth's block. Scraped away from in front of him by Bobby Thomas.
Probably a little bit fortunate, the goalkeeper is really close to his body. It was a brilliant strike. Thomas again on the edge of that box. It's dangerous every time he gets the ball, doesn't he? The left winger Arsenal have got.
Yes, so next Friday. Next Friday we will be bringing you live commentary. Yes, so next Friday we'll bring you live coverage of the Champions League group stage draw and for your UEFA Europa League draw both next Friday for you.
City remains absolutely undimmed. He loves the club. He's an essential part of its furniture. You played in his penultimate match for Coventry, Carol, 3-0 win at Highfield Road for Liverpool.
Quite pleased with that.
Yeah.
A legend like that.
Nevike. Onyeka. Thomas Asante. To Silva. Calafiori. Bobby Thomas, why not?
Bobby Thomas, congratulations to Bobby for Coventry.
The referee didn't know, and he was just looking at the reactions of the players to try and give him an insight.
Perhaps continues to ask the question. Here perhaps is the answer. Maybe off Mosquera's heel. VAR these days is allowed to determine what they give the corner the other way, but it doesn't work in reverse. So here are these two Arsenal changes. Declan Rice has put in a more than satisfactory shift, given his workload past and to come. 3/4 of the game is plenty. Bukayo Saka has his first goal of the season. On in his stead comes Noni Madueke into midfield. Martin Zubimendi.
So Arsenal have made a double substitution.
Saka, of course, England alternatives through the summer. Martin Zubimendi played just once at the World Cup for Spain, and it was in the final. Weke. Skelly. Solis. Gabriel. Has gone over. He's earned a free kick at the expense of Gabriel. So Coventry changes here. One very familiar face to their supporters and one brand new one. It's been a lonely evening for Ellis Sims up there. And he is replaced by Taiwo Awoniyi, who got a heartfelt farewell from Nottingham Forest this week as he moved an hour south down to Coventry. Jack Rudoni, who was a staple in the championship season, replaces Thomas Asante. Tony actually missed the celebrations with a shoulder injury. He hasn't played since 5-1 win against Portsmouth sewed up the title. Okay. Of course, Arsenal have another new signing on site today, just arrived from Aston Villa. Ezri Konsa, cover to start with for the absent William Saliba, but the suggestion, Jamie, that he wouldn't expect to be competing for a first-team place when Saliba and Gabriel are both available seems odd to me. He was England's World Cup first-pick centre-half.
Yeah, but certainly in Saliba, he's one of the best in the world, if not the defender who's going to become the best centre-back in the world. He's imperious, isn't he? It reminds me a little bit of the signing of Eze last summer, where Arsenal just reacted late in the window to an injury. I think you remember in pre-season last season, I think Havertz got an injury. They knew he'd be out for a few months. They just went and bought Eze. It reminds me of the same. They just got and bought a really good Premier League player to do a job for them for a certain amount of time, and then eventually, when the big boys come back, there'll be a fantastic squad player for them. Eze's on the bench for Arsenal tonight. I think eventually, when Saliba's back, will be the case with Konsa, but they still get plenty of games. That's the nature of the big clubs now.
Very interested to see whether he is thrown in for his Arsenal debut at Villa Park next weekend. It's Monday Night Football next weekend, so you'll have some fun with that, Jamie, if it happens.
To make sure he got the deal over the line, to make sure Konsa was playing against them.
Lewis Skelly, Zubimendi, Madueke, Martin Odegaard, headed out by Bobby Thomas.
It's Arsenal 3, Coventry 0.
Solis, who says he is really hungry for a goal. Calafiori. Lewis Skelly, delightful pass.
Arsenal come forward and can't do it about it.
Carl Rushworth.
He's been brilliant to get us
The Coventry goalkeeper comes out and saves that.
It's similar to the pass he played in the Community Shield. Sullivan again, Calafiori.
So it's Arsenal 3, Coventry no. Arsenal 3, Coventry now. It's about 15 more minutes worth of football left to be played here. Arsenal. Like we said, since Arsenal have made a couple of signings every day this summer.
Tough to deal with. Coventry will be for any team incoming here this season. Look at those fixtures. This week feels big. Seems so daft to say that so early on, but aspiration to staying in the league, which of course every Bolton team will. Their run next week will be absolutely bouncing at home. First home fixture back and a very winnable game.
So like we said, oh. Like we said, since Arsenal have made a couple of signings. Bruno Guimaraes. Aston Villa defender. What have made of the signings that Arsenal have made this summer concern? Can't speak. Anyway, they've made a few good signings here, like Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle, and a defender from Aston Villa, a player from Leeds, an interesting player from Bayern Leverkusen. So yeah, I really think Arsenal have got a good, strong, powerful depth squad for this season. For showing it here tonight, 3-0 up against Celebrities Coventry. Arsenal look to go forward again. They have kept it in. It's Arsenal 3, Coventry now. It's 10 minutes to play here. Here they go. Arsenal look on the charge again as champions going forward. Arsenal. Coming forward. Here they go. Oh, again, a good chance to go expected for Arsenal.
Always rising. Gustavo Harmer is a Coventry City player again, and that, for their fevered supporters, is very good news indeed. He had a season, of course, in the Premier League with Sheffield United, but he is very much a fan favourite. When he returned, just having signed in last Friday night's friendly against Monaco, CBS, he was received like some sort of a messiah. Let's see what he can do for them with 8 minutes of this game to play.
We're into the 82nd minute. It's Arsenal 3, Coventry 0 here in North London. Arsenal are playing like champions would play. It's turned out to be a horrific night if you are a fan of Coventry City. Unfortunately, Passman are not doing anything here. Not even a goal yet from Coventry. But tomorrow we will have live countries of games played tomorrow. Free kick there. Tomorrow we will kick off our first Saturday of the new season, Premier League Saturday. It all starts at 12:30 at the MKM Stadium, where we'll see the Tigers host City against Michael Carrick's Man United at 12:30, and then we will have a 3 PM commentary for you. We will be at the Hill Dickinson Stadium for commentary of Everton against Crystal Palace from 3 o'clock. And then 5:30 it'll be Brentford against Spurs for your 7-3 game. 3 commentaries for you tomorrow.
So here's how it looks for the first month of the Premier League season. Live on Sky Sports, we're all over this first weekend. Brentford tomorrow, City, Brighton, Newcastle on Sunday. Monday night football from the cottage. And then the same sort of formula throughout the month of September until the first international break. So, and enjoy the lot. Okay.
So we'll be at the MKM Stadium for home United at 12:30, 3 o'clock Everton Palace at 5:30, then at 5:30 Brentford Spurs tomorrow. Like I say, the first international break of the season will start near the end of September and then will go right through to the middle of October.
Toby. Also Mendy. Palmer.
Can Coventry try and fight back later on here? Can Coventry fight back later on? Well, you're right, I don't see that happen from a point of view from a Coventry fan. I can't see Coventry getting any goals between now and the final here, fortunately. Oh, and Coventry City had a massive chance there, Clinton. Later on, you were saying something. You jinxed that there. Coventry again there, Clinton. Yeah, well. Again, a minute ago, I just said I wasn't going to have any chances, but first, that is the closest Coventry have got all night to a goal there. Really good chance there. That lifted the Coventry fans in their far end, and it hopefully gave them some play, but good chance from Coventry there, they're kicking, really good chance there.
For Coventry on the opening day of the season many moons ago.
I know you're right for getting involved there, because you forget how long ago it was and people listening in.
So like I say, I am joined by Ian Dennis and Clint Morrison for Coventry.
14th of August 19.
Arsenal against Coventry.
First goal was a penalty, which resulted in a Lee Dixon foul on Peter Unlove. George Graham, Bobby Gould with the respective managers. Coventry team including Phil Babb, Peter Atherton, Roy Wegerle.
Mickey Quinn still got a Premier League record, hasn't he? The most goals at the start of the season from the first year.
We can hear the Arsenal fans singing Champion League, Champion League, ole, ole, ole. That is what the Arsenal fans are singing all around the Emirates. Arsenal for Coventry now. Arsenal come forward once again with the ball at their feet here. What can I do here?
Marino. So back to football upcoming, as mentioned, but plenty else besides. Formula One's back this weekend. Dutch Grand Prix from Zandvoort, Sunday from 12:30. US Open is next weekend. The tennis from Flushing Meadow, Carlos Alcaraz defending there. Transfer deadline day, Tuesday, 1st of September. Your multi-view, if you are a Sky TV customer, enables you to watch 4 things at once. And on Friday, the 11th of September, the Solheim Cup begins. Europe want that back. I believe that's happening in the Netherlands this year as well.
Arsenal 3, Coventry 0 here. So we've got plenty more sports. It is VF1. You can catch it all for Dutch Grand Prix qualifying tomorrow for sprint race. Qualifying on Sunday will be race day for you. Next weekend, the US Open starts next weekend. The 4th of September for Women's Super League returns. The 4th of September for Women's Super League returns. And then the 11th of September is the Soda Cup. Can you win back in for golf? There's plenty of sport. Everything has a couple of weeks to get your teeth into. Coventry City have got a free kick late on here.
By Torp and allowed to go by Ryan. So Carrie, your player of the match.
Yeah, it was a toss-up between two players. Zolis, Premier League debut for Arsenal, and Odegaard. I just went for Odegaard. He got his goal. Top of most of the stats within the game as well, but it was a flip of a coin. But maybe that goal just edged it for Odegaard. I would expect a really big season for him, getting back to the levels that he was on a couple of years ago. And I've said before about, and I still feel like maybe in terms of not so much the Premier League, but maybe the Champions League, do Arsenal have a real superstar in their attack? And I've actually felt a couple of years ago Saka and Odegaard were really close to becoming that, and they just probably haven't been themselves over the last sort of 12 months. But if they could get anywhere near the levels they've been in the last few years.
Marino.
Oh, Marino there.
This guy, do you really, is a first choice player, but only important goals is goals for Arsenal. Jack, goal getter, the Gunners.
Tony. Still manufactured pass on Yeka. Tony. That's a fair bit of Alani. He knows, he knew that this is the ultimate level. There will be tasks more achievable than this one. Manchester City away next week. It'll be a blur of sky blue there. You can be sure that wherever they go, they will be making themselves a terrific supporter base. Let's all sing together. Play up Sky Blues. Tottenham or Chelsea, United or anyone. So we sing fight till the day is won. SA. Time perhaps for one last Arsenal flourish. As if they hadn't made their point already. Truth be told, that point is made pretty forcibly. Capier. As Jamie was implying, it's kind of as relaxed an evening this stadium as we've experienced for quite a while.
Yeah, and you think about things about, could Arsenal go and win it again? I think most people's favourites. It's got the best team, the best squad, but you've also got to take into account how they be psychologically as well. The fact that they won the title. You just see players relax a lot more, play with a lot more swagger. I think we saw signs of that in the first half as well. They're much tougher, testicle, of course, and Arsenal know that as well.
Arsenal are going to finish the evening with an offensive free kick fouled by Aurel Amenda. The last moments of his Premier League debut.
This should be the last attempt of the game tonight here. The last chance here.
This is borrowed time.
This should be the last attempt.
And that's that. And that is the level. That is where the bar is set. That is how good the champions are. And that is the extent of Coventry's task. Just as Mikel Arteta would have wanted it, Kai Havertz with a really smooth finish after quarter of an hour. Bukayo Saka, Johnny on the spot 7 minutes after that. And Martin Odegaard, who was brilliant with what actually amounted to a bit of a miss kick, the third goal soon after the half-time interval. And Arsenal, Jamie, Arsenal are looking really good.
Yeah, they did. And as I said, we'll know in a few weeks, is there an extra little bit of swagger about them, or was it just a case they were playing, a team who were probably not used to the level first game for them? And, Arsenal showed their class, you get that. And to be honest, I think a 3-0 scoreline probably doesn't do justice to Arsenal at times and how they play, but it's probably something that you wouldn't want to get out of hand with Coventry, first game up, promoted team as well. And I think for Coventry, they've got the toughest test they'll have this season out the way, first game, and 37 to go.
And looking at them and consoling in some sense Carl Rushworth, Coventry will no doubt find a way to derive positives from that. Taiwo Awoniyi was brought off the bench towards the end. But Frank Lampard understands, he knows what it is to be champion. And Arsenal tonight certainly looked champion. The final score on opening night, Dave, Arsenal 3, Coventry City 0.
Very much a case of job done for Arsenal. Frank Lampard knows all about what goes on in Kai Havertz's mind as well. He brought him to England, didn't he, with Chelsea, and he was on the receiving end tonight. But even as he said to us before the game, Frank Lampard, of course you never know, but the Coventry fans will head off into London tonight singing their anthem, and they well know that this result here will not have an impact on their Premier League future. They are not going to live and die by what happens in away games at Arsenal, and their next one at Manchester City as well. But their next game is their first home game of their new Premier League adventure, and that is against Hull City next Saturday, which even at the early stage of the season, because of the opposition, because it's a fellow promoted side, brings with it huge importance. They are back in the Premier League, and that in itself is worthy of celebration, and they will have learned an awful lot from this first 90 minutes at the home of the champions. Very happy man with what he's seen here tonight, Mikel Arteta, and why not? Arsenal fans might well be happy as well, and you can get involved and give your verdict on tonight's performances, because Sky Sports has partnered with Fanatics to discover true fan opinion. Fanatics, to have your say on your club, download the Fanatics app right now. Scan that QR code to find out more information on the Fanatics app. So 1 down tonight in the Emirates Stadium and 5 to go for us this weekend. This is the picture tomorrow. Hull City starting against Manchester United. Everton up against Palace. It's Ipswich, another new boy, up against Sunderland. Forest play Leeds. Then our second live game of the weekend sees Brentford take on Spurs from 5:30. Super Sunday, 3 live games for you. The 2 1 o'clock kickoffs, Brighton up against, 2 o'clock kickoffs, Brighton Villa and Manchester City, Bournemouth, and at 4:30, Newcastle United up against Liverpool, both under new management, as are Fulham and Chelsea, who will kick us off on Monday Night Football. And Super 6 returns with £1 million jackpot, and it's there until it's won. All you have to do is predict 6 correct scores, play for free. Again, scan that QR code for more information. F1 returns with the Dutch Grand Prix this weekend. Here's confirmation of that with the sprint tomorrow from 10, qualifying 2:15. And then on Sunday, the race itself gets underway from 12:30 on Sky Sports F1. A new drama coming your way. Fightland on Sky Atlantic starting this coming Thursday. Champions have picked up where they left off at the end of last season. Coventry put to their sword on their debut back in the Premier League after 25 years away. 3-0 to the Gunners, and they are the early leaders.
You can be the greatest of all time. Sister and brother, and all of my friends, let's come together and pray again.
Guinness Zero presents Sky Sports coverage of the Premier League. Kingsley took everything from me, my brother, my champion.
So Arsenal picked up where they left off last season. They played like they were champions, and they kick off their crown with a win here. But Frank Lampard's men Coventry will play Hull City next weekend at home. So if there's more football coming your way, I'm just going to tell you. I am just going to tell you for more Premier League football for you to come. So, Arsenal have beaten Coventry by 3 goals to 0. And then tomorrow in the Premier League, newly promoted Hull City begin life back in the Premier League against Michael Carrick's Man United at 12:30. Everton play Palace at 3 o'clock. Newly promoted boys Ipswich take on Sunderland. Forest lead for you. Brentford Spurs at 5:30. On Super Sunday there are two 2 o'clock kickoffs. Brighton Aston Villa 2 o'clock. Man City Bournemouth 2 o'clock, and then Newcastle Liverpool at 4:30. Fulham, and to round off the opening weekend sees for Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football comes from Craven Cottage as Fulham hosts Chelsea. So F1 to tell you about the Dutch Grand Prix. The sprint race is in the morning. The split race in the morning, and then in the afternoon tomorrow it is qualifying, and the race itself at 12:30. The US Open starts on August the 30th for you. Tomorrow we'll be laughing out at 11:15 in the morning for Hull against Man United. 12:30 for that one. Our Around the Ground Golf Show is back from about 2:15 tomorrow. We did the first year, our Premier League competition. Get 6 correct scores and win our first jackpot, which is £500. You got until 3 p.m. to enter. Go to our website, Sports App website, or enter. But it's going to be QR code that's on your screen right now. It'll be on your screen for the next few minutes. Also brand new player ratings. At the end of every game, you can give every player from both teams a rating. You can do it right now. We're calling it the Premier League player football ratings. You can do it by screening for QR code 2 on the screen, or going to a website or app for that. So much to say, we're going to be on air till 10:45. We've got plenty to discuss as Arsenal begin their campaign with a win. We'll get the news very shortly for you too. But Arsenal begin their campaign with a win. 3-0 winners here against the New Boys Coventry City. We will hear from Mikel Arteta, Frank Lampard. We'll get plenty more reaction for you between now and 10:45 this evening.
Michael's missed out. Calafiori and Havertz drinks it home. Declan Rice, solid. Saka couldn't miss. Saka, White's gone outside of him. It's Ben White, it's Martin Odegaard, it's in. Champions cruising. They are smooth.
They certainly were tonight, weren't they? They were slick from the outset, the defending champions as well. You might expect they are a team high on confidence. And they dominated this game with 20 shots to 4, 6 on target to Coventry's 1, which came in the second half. 1.8 on the XG to Coventry's 0.28. Didn't have a touch in the opposition box, I think, until the 60th minute. And 64% of the possession went Arsenal's way as well. Very happy man, Mikel Arteta, with what he's seen here this evening, continuing the way they started against Manchester City in the Community Shield. So much to be positive about. Less so for Coventry City. This was a bruising start for them, but it might well have been worse than it turned out to be. 3-0, the final score here at the Emirates tonight. Ian Wright and Gary Neville are alongside us. We're going to bring you loads of reaction as and when the key players, managers come out of the dressing rooms. But Ian, start us off. What have you actually learned, do you think, tonight watching Arsenal here?
Well, I thought obviously we're talking early in the season, and you know, you look very sharp. What you'd expect them to be, you know, coming up from the pre-season. Thought the game in the Community Shield they looked pretty sharp, but they've taken that into this game. And obviously, I think it was a tough one for Coventry. Coming up against a team that went around the immense pressure to get this done. Once they've got it done, they've got the monkey off their back, and they just look perilous. I think too much space was left in the midfield for them to exploit, and they just couldn't get near them. They couldn't get going. It was a tough baptism for Coventry today.
But we shouldn't patronise Coventry either, should we, Gary? They're here on merit. They have to be judged for being a Premier League side now. Was there a gulf in class?
Yeah, there was. I always think it's most telling. I think you can get into a defensive shape, and that's fine. But I think it's very difficult. I said before the game, it's very difficult to break out from that defensive shape when you've got a team like Arsenal that smother you and their centre-backs are pushing in. And you've got to have real quality to be able to play out against that counter-press. And they just didn't have that tonight, and you wouldn't expect them to have that. What I would say is, I don't think it's a bad result for Coventry, and that isn't patronising them, because at 2-0 down after 25 minutes, I thought, oh, this could get messy. and actually they hung in there. They got a little bit better before half time. The goalkeeper will just be disappointed with a couple of the goals, but you know, it was a bit of a free hit for Coventry tonight.
Smothered was almost, it's the right word, isn't it, Ian? Because at times it felt like they just couldn't breathe, and they also contributed to their own downfall. We have to say that as well in the first half.
Especially with the first goal. You like to think that maybe, I don't know, he might have thought this is the kind of thing you get away with in the Championship, but I think that when he's got to attack that, and then once he doesn't get it here, I think his defender's got to call him. He's got to try and get that to him, and then they can maybe clear their lines. But then after that, it's just pure class, and the way Arsenal just ruthlessly just put them away there. You know, the finish. It's a great ball across, and I think he's got to get closer. And once he doesn't win this, then he's got to go back to the goalkeeper. Hang on a minute, my man's here.
Martin Ødegaard has just joined us. Martin, congratulations. We're just watching the first goal back. And you may as well contribute to that as well. I mean, that was the perfect start for you, wasn't it, in terms of getting out of the traps, getting that first goal, as Jamie joins us as well.
I give you one of mine. Thank you. Yeah, no, for sure. It was good to get the first one. I think first game of the season is always a bit, you know, nervy, and I think they played well, you know, from the start. They gave us a good fight. A lot of physical players, you know, they gave us a good battle. So yeah, it was key to get the first goal, and I think after we controlled the game much better, and we created a lot of chances, and yeah, it was solid.
Everyone's using the phrase that Arsenal looked really sharp tonight. Did you feel that out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we look good. Still feel like it's things we could have done better, and we could have scored more, could have created more. I think we're so many times in and around the box where we can be a little bit more precise and a little bit more sharp. But of course, it's a good game and a good performance. But still, I feel like we can do even better, to be fair.
I was going to say, in respect of the sharpness, is that something that you think you're going to be able to maintain? Because sometimes you watch Arsenal, and that's the only thing that you feel like, what we need to keep moving it quicker, Is that something we need to focus on?
Yeah, no, I think so, especially the way the opponent plays against us. There's many times we play a low block, you know, a lot of players in and around the box. So, yeah, we need those relationships that we have, you know, players wanting the ball, a lot of movement like you saw today, you know, and then, as I said, I think we can be even more sharp with the last pass. I had a few there where I have to give it better, and then we can score more goals, you know. So, yeah, it was a good game, but we can do better.
Martin, the competition for places in and around the area that you're playing, you've got Zubimendi, Mourinho, Declan Rice, Miles Lewis, Skelly, Eberechi Eze, so many players, yourself obviously. What's the feeling like in the group? You must feel so confident right now about the squad and I suppose the way in which the manager's continuing to go. It's relentless, really.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the quality in the squad and the team is unbelievable. As you say, you can put so many players on that pitch and they will perform at the highest level. So, and we see that every single day in training. You know, we push each other, and you always have someone there to push you to get better. And I think that the level we compete at in training is really high, and I think that helps us a lot as well. So yeah, the squad is unbelievable, and yeah, everyone is pushing each other.
Man, can I ask you about where you feel you are right now? Because probably in last season, a little bit in and out of the team, I felt your role towards the end of the season and getting Arsenal over the line was fantastic when you come off the bench at West Ham. I thought you were brilliant in the World Cup as well, especially in that Brazil game. Fantastic last week again. Do you feel like, you know, you're the captain, but you were in and out of the team last season? Do you think this is a sort of big season to re-establish yourself again and almost see yourself as one of the top creative players in the Premier League?
Yeah, no, that's the goal for sure. I think last season was a big struggle for me. I think I had too many injuries and a lot of weird situations, you know, a lot of bad luck. Could really never find the rhythm, you know. It's hard when you always go in and out, and sometimes you play maybe not 100% fit, so it was hard, but yeah, I feel good now. My body is good. I've had a good summer, good World Cup, good pre-season, and yeah, now I'm feeling 100%, so that always helps, you know. So I feel great.
And you got your goal as well, Martin. I mean, it sounds a bit cheeky to say, but because you scored last week as well, you've actually beaten last season's tally already.
Yeah.
You're aware of that?
Thanks for reminding me.
That's your perfect position there, Martin.
Yeah, no, that's a good
right
position.
channel.
Yeah, it's a good ball from Deck as well. And then Ben is always there on the overlap, and then yes, top finish, I would say.
But a player of your quality, will you be setting yourself goals? Because you have been hitting double figures in the past.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's what I want to do. You know, I want to help the team to create chances, score goals, and I think it's not the best finish, obviously, but I'm there.
It's great to see you there, Mark.
I'm there, yeah. I'm
Yes.
there in the right area,
Yeah.
and I think that's been a big focus, to be in and around the box and to, yeah. Then you get this luck as well.
Martin, that three on that right hand side, Saka, Ben White, and yourself, that was a real brilliant combination a couple of seasons ago. That just seeing there, that I can say, would you say that's the most comfortable you are on that side when you three play?
I think, whoever plays is so many good players, and we have great relationships with all of them. But I think we played so many games together, the three of us, as you said, probably two, 3 seasons ago, we played almost every single game together. So we know each other really well, and I think we complement each other really well. So I think you could see that today as well.
Martin, we have to let you go. Jamie has awarded you. Go on, do the honours. There's no celebration, please, here tonight, Jamie.
Should we get a picture with Stuart?
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Well done. I'm sure the first of many. Congratulations, Martin. Thank you very much for joining us. Everyone is talking about him, aren't they, right now, as being back to those sort of levels. And how exciting would that be for Arsenal if he can get there?
Well, like he did mention, sorry, guy, he did mention, being in and out. His body's in a good place now. And what we saw, I think, especially like you mentioned it in the World Cup, we saw a player that was that looked fit, looked sharp, looked ready to go, and he started the season in the same way. He ended the season, and the goal against West Ham in particular was when I started to see, okay, he's starting to get to what he does, because I think he's the only person in that particular scenario who sets that goal up for us to score, for Leandro Trossard to score. So I'm just glad to see that he's started the season well. That's all I'm doing. I'm just very glad to see that happening.
He's exceptional on the ball. His understanding of the game is fantastic. I actually think that, and I'm being respectful here to sort of Havertz and to Gyökeres, but if there, say, was an Ian Wright up front for Arsenal who made those little runs all the time, I think he would be even better. I think because Gyökeres always comes to the play and so does Havertz, he's almost always playing possession in the final third rather than playing those slip-through passes, which I think could be so dangerous. So I actually think that if Arsenal were to get an Alvarez, I actually think he would actually go up a level as well himself, because I think that would be perfect for the style of play. So yeah, I think he's a fantastic player. I actually thought when Eze came in, he would be out of the actual team. I thought that he would take his spot, but he looks like he's re-established himself.
But in terms of being stronger as a team, Jamie, sometimes it's not about the signings that you make. Sometimes it's the players already in the building. So Havertz, Saka and Martin Ødegaard on the score sheet tonight. 3 players who probably weren't at their top level because of injury for most of last season.
No, 100%. And I mean, I say it a lot. And I think I've said it tonight before the game that I still think they lack a world-class player in the front four. But 2 years ago, the way Saka and Ødegaard were playing, I thought it was just natural that they were going to make that next step. They were just almost there. And for whatever reason, it didn't quite happen. Whether it was injuries, whether it was being 100% fit, whether the team weren't at the best a year or so ago when Liverpool won the title. But they were really close, I felt, to getting to the levels that we were seeing Manchester City players and Liverpool players who were winning leagues. You think of Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland, you think of Salah at Liverpool and Mane. They got to that level and took their teams over the title. Now, Arsenal won the league without them doing it.
Yeah.
In a fully strange way. They actually won it by having a great defence, great goalkeeper, Declan Rice in front. But I still think there's scope for those players to get back to where they were a couple of years ago, maybe get to that level.
We've done first goal, we've done the third goal as well. We'll take you back to the second goal now, because it was a really nice build-up, actually, wasn't it, Ian? And the finish is pretty straightforward, but how much will that help Bukayo Saka going forward?
Well, to be honest, like the first game of the season, you always want to be getting yourself on the score sheet. You can see him; he looks fit, he looks sharper. He's going to get himself on the back stick like he does. But like again, Solis does brilliantly there. Goalkeeper could have done maybe better, but you just got to be in there to finish those off. And again, Saka for me, he's somebody he can be getting between 10 and 15 goals.
He has done in the past.
He has
7
done, yeah.
last season.
7 last season. I'm sure he'd be disappointed with that, because I believe that he can get more. I think you make a really good point, Gav, about him, Ben White and Ødegaard. They are very good, and a lot of our work does come down the right-hand side when them 3 are playing. But if he can get into this kind of position more frequently, he will score the goals, because I feel like he looks fitter, Ødegaard looks fitter, Havertz looks fit. It's a brilliant start for us at the moment.
What a tough start, though, for Coventry City, having romped the Championship. This was a real steep learning curve. Matt Grimes played every game last season, the captain, and I'd like to say that Matt joins us now. Thank you so much, Matt. So 3-0 defeat here on the first game back in the Premier League. Tell us what you made of it.
Disappointing. Obviously, we've not been used to losing for the last year and a half or so. So, yeah, difficult night. But the quality they've got, we always knew it was going to be a tough ask coming here and getting something.
What do you think you learnt from it?
Well, we spoke at half time about being a bit braver. I think we were a little bit in our shells first half, so we wanted to come out second half and give a better account.
Do you
of
mean in
ourselves.
possession when you actually?
Yeah, a little bit of both, to be honest. But yeah, I felt like we could have played more. And then obviously spoke about half time, but then conceded a goal so early, second half, and kind of killed the game.
And what did the manager say about the goals that you conceded in the first half?
Not too much, to be honest. I think when you play such a high level of player, little mistakes become big mistakes, and that's just the level of what we're facing this year.
Matt, I think it's 11 years since you played in the Premier League. What was it like out there tonight compared to how it was the last time you played all those years ago?
Well, because it was such a long time ago, really, I'm not really counting it. I'm not really counting it. So yeah, I had a small stint such a long time ago, but I never felt like I was ready for it then. I feel like we're ready for it now, and we want to give the season a good go.
Can you see the difference? You know, you're playing the champions, and was there any time in the game you're thinking, well, yeah, I can see it now?
You can kind of feel it, yeah. Like obviously they're such a good team, so well drilled. Been together a long time. You just got players everywhere. When you got players off the back of you, especially in midfielder, you want to get up to people, put pressure on. But you've got Ødegaard, one of the best in the world at being in those half spaces. So yeah, it's difficult to put pressure on, and then if you do and they get by you, it's game done.
What has Frank said at the end of the match there in the dressing room to you all?
Our season's not going to be defined on coming away to places like this and getting beat. Obviously, we wanted to do well and cause a bit of an upset today, but it wasn't meant to be. We learnt a lot, but yeah, I think obviously coming here against the champions, a team so well drilled, such good players, it's always going to be a tough ask.
So will your season be defined by home games against Hull?
No pressure.
I think if you start looking at it like that, it can put added pressure on games. I think there's certain games obviously that you identify as ones that you probably should be winning. I'd probably say we have a better chance of beating Hull at home than beating Arsenal away. That's just fact. So yeah, it's not going to define us, like I say. Just got to learn all we can and go again.
Was there anything about that, Matt, that surprised you?
Not really, no, to be honest. Like I say, I've had a small glimpse of it 11 years ago. I've played a few of the bigger teams in the Cup, so you know the level. You played against these players a handful of times before. And no, it didn't surprise us really, to be honest.
Matt, it's one of the most difficult things that when you're defending deep, which obviously you will be at times, that when you do win the ball back, actually to be able to play out quickly and sort of transition and try and get a counter-attack away.
Yeah, it's so difficult because they pin you in. You're going side to side to side. They're popping up in half spaces, like I say. Your legs are gone a little bit. They're obviously making passes, and you want to get pressure on the ball, but got so many players in and around you. You do eventually win it back, and you want players to run and break forward, and that's what we said at half time. We needed to go with a bit more pace. But it's obviously a lot easier said than done when you've been defending for such a long time. But like I say, that's something we'll learn from. We'll grow from that. We'll get more used to it, more used to the level, the speed of everything. So yeah, I don't think we'd be too disheartened.
Such a trusted group of players that Frank has relied on to win promotion last year and win the league. Can you talk to us a little bit about what it's like from your perspective now as a senior figure in the team when you obviously have great friends around you and you all want to go on this journey together, but you probably know at the same stage that you need those reinforcements. I think it's 9 signings, though a couple were on loan. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that's like, trying to manage that dynamic in the dressing room?
Yeah, well, obviously we're such a tight group. I've said it time and time again. So it's making sure that bringing players in fit in with our culture that we've got already. And you guys will know when you play in dressing rooms that have that culture and have that belief. When players come in, it's easy for them to settle in. They kind of not fall in line, but they just get on with things the same way that we've been acting for the last year and a half. So I like to think that makes it easier for players to adapt and come in and feel at home, really. So yeah, we have to just try and keep that as much as possible.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. We wish you well for the rest of the season, starting, of course, next week against Hull City.
Cheers, guys.
Well done, all the best, Matt. Well done.
And there is, of course, an argument that the hardest game of the season is already out the way, coming away to the champions.
That was a hell of a tough start, and we said before the game about the fact that this Arsenal team, they smother you when they're actually in possession and they're actually keeping the ball in the final third. They then don't let you out when they give it away, and it's like they're all over you. Pep's Manchester City teams used to do it. The Barcelona team of Pep used to do it, and then Mikel Arteta. I think the best thing that I see them do is that they recycle the ball really well, but when they give it away, they're all over you. Whether it's Saliba and Gabriel or it's Mosquera and Gabriel tonight, and it's just hard to get out against them if you've not got real quality.
Jamie, they paid for one or two individual errors, but what do you think they could have done better collectively, Coventry?
I'm not really sure. To be honest, you're watching the game and it's the level we're talking about. You know, they lost the Champions League final by a penalty. You know, and also I was thinking in the first half. I obviously mentioned it a few times on commentary. When you're looking at Arsenal playing the way they were knocking the ball around the first half, you're thinking, is this because of the difference in level? You know, promoted team just come up, or is this extra sort of bit of confidence and swagger now of winning the title? We're the champions. They were always the nearly men. Does that change you psychologically? Just give yourself that little bit of confidence and belief to also have that arrogance in your play. And I just felt there was signs of that in that first half of that. Now they'll have tougher tests to come, and can they do that against better teams? We'll see. But I think the psychological factor of actually being champions now will be what takes this team to another level, not necessarily in terms of going by some superstar player.
Glimpses of something very special here for Arsenal tonight. 3-0 win to start the season. We heard from Matt Grimes, beaten Coventry midfield player tonight, and we'll hear from his manager next as well. Much more to come from us here on the opening night of the season.
You can be the greatest of all time.
Sponsored by Bet365.
So we are now joined by Arsenal's Kai Havertz. Kai, congratulations. How does that win feel for you? Yeah, it feels great. It feels fantastic to kick off our campaign with a win. I think we played well out there. I think we played well. We defended well. We created chances. I felt like towards when we scored for third, I thought we were going to try and get fourth to seal it, but of course it didn't happen. I think the players did well, and I think it went well. So what did you make of the goals that were scored? Yeah, they felt like the goals that we scored felt really important, really key. I think, like I say, we played really well. We scored goals. We defended well. We were very attacking. We were creating chances. I felt towards the last 10 minutes that we could have scored one or two more goals to see that, but of course it's a win is to win, and we need to take that going forward. Kai Havertz, what did you make of the team you faced? What did you make of Coventry tonight? We have a very good side. We know that they were going to either come in and give us a fight or not. On very good side, I mean, they came up as champions from the championship, and we know that that's a challenge, but of course they're a good side, and we showed them what we can do, and we are obviously champions for a reason, aren't we? I mean, at the end of the day, we played really well. What did you make of the fans that were in the ground tonight? What did you make of the fans that came out supported Arsenal tonight? Like I said, we had a massive fan we managed to build and create a massive fan club last season, and to see so many happy smiles on their face, full of joy, putting a massive smile on all the Arsenal fans, it feels really good and it feels good for the support that we get every season. It's fantastic, and we got a massive support last season when we won the Premier League and lifted that in front of our fans at Selhurst Park. And like you guys say, we've got a good fan base, and hopefully we can go even bigger this season for fan base, and hopefully it's going to pay off going forward. And do you think you are going to do better than twice better than you did last season, Kai Havertz? Of course, I really want the outcome to be the same as it was last season. I really want us to show what we did last season. Hopefully, we can do that again this season. And we don't know what the outcome will be yet, but hopefully, it'll be a interesting outcome. We want it to be a good outcome, and hopefully, it is. Okay. Thank you for coming outside to chat to us. Give it up for Arsenal's Kai Havertz. Kai.
The defending champion started with a 3-0 victory over newly promoted Coventry City. Mikel Arteta, as you can see, has joined us. Congratulations, Mikel. The guys have been full of praise, talking about the slickness of your passing, the swagger with which you played. What did you like about it?
There was a lot to like on that performance right from the beginning. I think we were really dominant. We really flow with the ball. We connected with each other in a really impressive way. We scored 2 brilliant goals. Probably we should have scored the third one before halftime as well. And after halftime, we scored the goal with Martin, a bit lucky. And then after that, obviously, we have to manage the game. But overall, I think the overall performance was very positive and a lot of big individual performances as well.
So at halftime, what do you say at halftime?
We need to go for the third goal.
Yes.
And we know that this is the Premier League and the 2-0 doesn't give you any comfort or confidence to close the game. So that's what we wanted to do, and I think we've done it. Yeah. And credit to the team.
Mikel, it feels like the first time I was talking to Martin earlier, that combination of Saka, Ben White and Ødegaard on that side, it's a brilliant combination and it really works well together. They played together quite a bit 2 years ago and then obviously last season. Do you see that as well, that they're the best three on that side from a point of view of familiarity? I know you've got great players, but they're so good together.
When you talk about connections and chemistry, those three got that. Obviously, they played so many minutes together in the past. Last year, we didn't really use them because of different situations. Today, not only that, but even on the left side, you start to see different dynamics with Christos and Ricky. I was very impressed.
Mikel, I want to ask you about your fullbacks and how much sort of license you give them to go forward and pop up in different positions. I mean, Ben White's got an assist tonight, but Calafiori as well. But especially Calafiori, you think of, he got to goal last weekend, he set up a goal tonight. Can you give us a little bit of insight in where they're allowed to go, where they're allowed to roam? So often they find themselves between the lines.
Yeah. Well, in relation to the opponent's behavior, in relation to how the opponents behave, they need to do certain things to try to cause them problems. Not to be easy to detect, not to be easy to mark, and to occupy spaces that can be really harmful for the opponent. And they are brilliant. They have this intuition, they have those qualities, they are able to occupy different spaces. They are a big threat in the opponent's box as well, so we need to use them.
Mikel, how do you want to see your team actually evolve on the pitch?
Day by day, it will be in relation to the opponent as well. Depending on the opponent's propositions, we will have different ideas and things that we want to do. But improving every phase. Today, there were some very good moments. There were moments in the second half after the third goal that I wasn't too happy about it. The timing, the compactness of the team at times. So, we need to keep improving.
You've obviously brought in Esri Konsa today to add to Bruno Guimaraes, and significance on this particular question because they're two players who are 28 years old. A lot of other clubs will shy away from spending money on that age player. Why do you see that as an opportunity?
Because we look at the squad as a whole, and in the defensive line we have a really young defensive line. In midfield we have a different profile, but as well we have two players with three with Max, Ethan and Miles as well, that we already have the next generation there ready for them. And there are players that are 28, not 38, and when they are at their prime, especially on the hearts of the team, I think they're going to give us so much in the next few years as well.
You're going to have an amazing squad when this is all done. We hear still rumours and reports of maybe another addition to the forward line. Don't know if you can say anything about anybody there.
You know,
How are you going to keep everybody happy?
winning. I think winning helps always, and making sure that they earn the right to play on the pitch, which is the best way to do it. And last season we have an incredible experience because everybody accepted the role on the day, and then I think we scored the most goals from the finishes than any other team. So these are the things. If it's a collective purpose, we know to play for competition every 3 days. Otherwise, we're not gonna do it. So otherwise, they will complain if they play 55 games and every 3 days. So try to keep them happy, but that's a collective effort, not only mine.
We look forward to seeing you manage it all. Mikel, thank you so much. Good
Thank you.
start.
Thank you, man.
3-0 victory, and they are up and running. It's going to be some battle, isn't it, getting in the Arsenal team this season?
Well, that's what's got to happen. If they're doing what he's saying he wants to do, he wants to build legacy, he wants a dynasty, then you got to bring the players. You got to bring as many as you can. You got to make them fight for it. Because that's how you become champions. That's
You're
how
so
you win.
smug tonight here.
Yes, it is.
It's not smug. This is what he said. This is what he was saying after the Champions League final. What he wants, and that's why we're trying to go for certain players that can change the DNA of the club where he wants.
Do you know
to
what
go.
Ian said back end of last season? He was looking forward to doing some games this season when it wasn't so tense.
Oh yeah, well,
Actually, we've looked at Mikel Arteta for the last few years with an element of doubt. Can he get over the line? Can he win the title? Is he going to be able to get past Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp or whoever, Arne Slot, obviously, in the last couple of years? Now I think that he must feel so different. He's got that title under his belt in terms of the surety of where he's going. Obviously, I'm sure he's always been confident, but when he's won that title, I think he becomes a very dangerous animal in this Premier League, because obviously all the other managers are quite young, and he's gone from being, I think I said before the game, from being the apprentice to the master, and you can just see it in him. I don't think he'll have a problem. He's creating a real problem for himself in the sense of, actually, Sir Alex Ferguson used to say the hardest thing was leaving those players out every single week, and he's going to have to do the same. He has got, I said to him off camera, what a squad he has built here, and if he puts another forward into that, I mean, I don't see.
You didn't have the bottle to name the forward, did you?
That did you?
I wanted to hedge my bets.
What was it?
Forward.
A journalist will never go with one name because there might be another one.
But just something. If they could, I mean, look, we think that Alvarez wants to go to Barcelona, but if they could get Alvarez somehow, Arsenal, I mean, that is going to light this place up, because then you've got a world-class striker to go with all the other world-class defenders and midfield players, and they become, not just actually, to be fair, Premier League title winners. You're then thinking that they can go that extra step and win a Champions League as well. So, look, it's massive this next 10 days. He does need, I mean, Jamie's made the point quite a few times, that they just need that little bit, he needs that little bit of magic up front, that when you don't play well, that they'll go and win a big game for you. And he just maybe, has he got enough of that? I'm not sure.
Did you see something of that in Zolis on his debut?
What I would say is he probably hasn't got the biggest of names, but he could then grow to be a fantastic player. And if Vinicius Junior had come and he put in that performance there, he's saying, wow, maybe is this superstar to take you to another level. But what he does look, and I think Peter mentioned it in commentary, is an upgrade on Trossard and Martinelli. It's one game. It's a game, but he's certainly looked the part early on, and to go straight into the team straight away as well as bodes well for him. But it's a tougher proposition to come. But I always think left wingers being the one where I think there's a real drop off.
Yeah.
I like, man, look, maybe I like Trossard last season. I actually like Martinelli. What's happened to him? Because, Martinelli is still a hell of a wide player, in my opinion.
You know, with Martinelli, just looking at Zolis there, and I think for his debut, and he's had a very good pre-season, and again, he's got a very good goal-scoring record in Brugge when he was playing goal-scoring and assists. But respect to Martinelli and the way Martinelli's been treated at the moment, it really makes me feel uncomfortable, because he always gives 100%. I'm not saying that he's the greatest, he's really come up with some big moments for Arsenal, some big games, and scores some very important goals, and the way he's been treated at the end here. I know they might want him out, and there's a lot of people might say, yeah, maybe it's time for him to move on, but there's ways of doing that, and it should suit him as well, how he wants to lead.
So by being treated, you talking about not being involved in the squad tonight?
Not being spoken to, doesn't know what's going on.
We know this, do we? I don't know this.
Yes, I do know this. Yeah, I know this, and it's again not being involved with the Community Shield squad, not being involved tonight. He doesn't know what's happening. I think he's got a year left. And again, if you bring in someone like, if you bring Vinny in, if you bring that kind of level in, Martinelli can say to himself, well, okay, they brought him in and they brought Zolis, so it might be third. But if you bring in Zolis in and he's looking at Zolis, then you've got you're looking at you look at Madueke on the other. You're thinking to yourself, I think I can still have it with these two. I still think I've got something to offer here. So for him to be nowhere near it, just makes me feel a bit sad.
But don't they have to sell somebody? Sometimes maybe even force someone out.
Yeah, but you're saying that. I'm not even bothered about all that. I'm just saying that I think he's done enough with this team and this squad to be treated a little bit more respect than he's been treated with at the moment.
That's the challenge, though, isn't it? Keeping a team happy when you've got so
probably
many,
that's the next step for Mikel. You're going to get maybe that kind of situation and how it's dealt with, because at the moment they're on that trajectory going that way, and they're not looking at the stragglers at the minute. So I'm just hoping it can all work out right for Martinelli.
All right, let's hear from the Coventry manager now. Frank Lampard is with Davy Craig.
Frank, when you spoke in the build-up to this game, you said it would be an enormous challenge. How big a challenge did it prove to be this evening?
Yeah, clearly, big challenge. Fantastic team. Good lesson for our boys to see that the levels, and they played like champions, and it was a difficult game for us. So yeah, I think the experience of it is probably good for us in terms of the stadium, the atmosphere at the start of the game, the quality that they have, and when you can see goals. Not great from us, the goals. So, and that's a reality of this level of football.
Always lessons to be learned. What did you learn, and perhaps what did we learn about Coventry City tonight?
You see more from us than that. And Arsenal will beat a lot of teams here and play they do and control the game a lot. And there were some bits I didn't mind with us, and some individual performances I didn't mind, and we'll improve all the time. So I don't want to judge the lads on that tonight. They deserve better than that for what they did last year and what the challenges will be ahead. So I'm calm with it. I'm calm. Our support were amazing. I think they understand a little bit, but we lost the game, and we will learn the lessons.
The fact that it took you 60 minutes to get your first touch in their box, does that underline the task ahead for Coventry City?
Yeah, but every game won't look like that. This is an Arsenal team, confident and buoyed by the feeling of where they're at the moment, and that's what you have to understand. It's a team that's been built and well coached and good players all over the park. So I'm not concerned about the touches in the box tonight. The result is what it is. We'll go over the detail of it where we can get better. But the games going forward will look different. But as I say, I'm more concerned about the personality of taking on a game like that. I think we were a little bit timid in the first half. Maybe the occasion of it made us a little bit timid, and then when the first one goes in, and that's what we spoke about a lot before the game. So that experience will help us.
How hard is it to acclimatise to this level?
Well, it's hard. I think Leeds came here in the first game and lost 4-0 and stayed in the Premier League. I'm not making any early judgments. We will have to acclimatise. Players will get better, fitter. A lot of the players there, our starting team, played for us last year and were regular and were very, very good for us. And they'll get better. Everything's a little bit the high level of talent and speed in the game and those things. So they're adjustments for us to make, and we'll make them.
You spoke about that connection. When you went over to the fans, they all stayed, gave you a huge standing ovation. How important is that belief between players and fans and that type of momentum to take you to where you need to be?
Yeah, important because, years ago this club was in League Two, playing at different stadiums. When we came in, we were 17th in the league. So the boys have risen, the team's risen, and the connection with the fans has been amazing. They've been a huge strength to us, and they have to remain that way. And the lads have to give everything, and there's nobody out there that didn't give everything. It was just a really tough match for us. And as I say, I hope and think the fans will understand that. We go on to the next one. We go to Plymouth on Tuesday. We have Hull coming to us on Saturday, and that's it. It has to be positive feeling after that, even though defeat's hard to take always.
You mentioned those two games, Plymouth in the Carabao Cup and then Hull City at home. Is that something that's very much within your scope at this moment, and the types of games that can give you confidence ahead, of course, which is a huge task in the Premier League at Manchester City now?
Yeah, well, Hull will be a tough game, right? This is the Premier League we're in now, and then all of a sudden it'll flip. People maybe expect us to get a result. So, yeah, every game's a huge challenge. So that's why this one, we'll do our work behind the scenes, but you have to put it to bed to a degree and move on. When you look at the fixture list at the start, Arsenal away, first game, Hull, Man City away, well, we're not stupid. We know what it is. We know it's a tough challenge. That's why we must stay very level-headed about it.
And just finally, Frank, obviously the transfer window is still open. You've been very active. Is there more to do? Have you learnt other things that you'd like to add tonight after seeing that?
No, nothing changes from watching the game. There may be more to do. We'll see. While the window's still open, we'll see if we can help the squad, strengthen the squad, and we'll see whether some players move in or out, and that's normal. But no, we're pretty happy where we are at the minute. Some players coming in, it's hard to integrate because it's late in the window, some of them, so we'll get better through that as well.
Frank, wish you all the best.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Safe trip back.
Yeah, Timoney said his players in the first half, and I suppose you can expect that when they come to the home of the champions. But a brilliant reception for not just Frank Lampard, but also the Coventry players from the away fans here, who are so thrilled to be back in the Premier League after 25 years away, and they know they're not going to get judged on this. And a positive is they've got one of the hardest games of the season out of the way already. This is how it looks at home for their opening 7 home matches. We put the 7 up because they play the 2 other promoted sides in that run of the first 7 home games. Is this, Jamie, where they can grow into the Premier League?
Yeah, without a doubt, and that's why I mentioned that question to Matt Grimes when he came over, because as I said, they've got the most difficult game of the season out the way. They won't be defined by that. Every promoted team coming up says that when you play one of the big boys and lose. Well, the flip side of that is that you will be defined by certain games, and Hull, for me, and for Hull as well, we should say, it's a game they'll be looking at thinking, think of away games where we could maybe get 3 points. I think Peter mentioned in commentary that last season Hull stopped Coventry scoring, I think, in the home game last season. So, yeah, it'll be a tough game for both, but they'll both look at that fixture and think, if we want to stay up and there's a certain number of points we'll need to get, that's a game that you've got to get them in.
We've always said for the last few years that every team that comes up from the Championship, to get a single win is like an event in itself. And 3 points is enormous, and it's incredibly difficult. And yeah, they shouldn't take for granted next Saturday against Hull, because that's going to be a tough game, and Hull will be thinking exactly the same. It's so hard for these teams. I mean, the quality difference tonight is enormous. It's enormous, but they've got a chance because they can fight.
They played not just the best team in the Premier League tonight, they played one of the best teams in Europe in Arsenal. So the question is, on this evidence,
is it full?
Almost. I'll take it out if you want.
Yeah, it's 11 tonight, just for tonight.
No, it's not fair.
I'm tired, I'm not waiting.
So it's got to be me stuff first because you're tired and I'm not.
We're all out, we've been up since 7. Oh, before 7.
I didn't get up at 7, I got up at 9 actually.
No, but we did, so we're tired.
Yeah, but that's not fair me, is it?
Of course it is, because you can't.
Listen. So we've heard from Kai Havertz came over. Let's hear now. Well, Mikel Arteta is going to join us for a quick chat before we go. Mikel Arteta, congratulations. How's that feel? It feels fantastic. It feels good to kick off the campaign with a win. We feel like we know what to do. It feels good to kick off. Do it at home in front of the fans. It feels fantastic. It feels like we've got a lot to do going forward, and we know what we have to do to push for Manchester going forward. What did you make of the goals tonight, Mikel Arteta? In your opinion, what did you make of the goals that were scored for your side? Saka, Odegaard. What did you make of them? Oh, bring it down in a minute. What did you make of them 3 goals? I could say it's fantastic to. It felt really good to see our players score first goals. Like I said, we defended well. We had a lot of chances too. I feel like if we go forward and we. But yeah, it felt really good, and hopefully we can do that again. What have you made of your transfer window? Because you brought in fair play, you brought in an Aston Villa defender today. You also brought in. I just want to go through for what are the new rules for the season. Just want to go through that with you guys before we go off. Oh, come on. Just want to go through the new rules. Thank you, give it up for the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta. Congratulations, Mikel. Thank you for coming to talk to us before we go. Oh, come on. So what are the new rules for the Premier League season? So because we found out during summer that Anthony Taylor has announced his retirement, because Anthony Taylor's gone, this is the number one ref, Michael Oliver. So Michael Oliver is the Premier League's number one referee after Anthony Taylor's retirement. If I don't spoon, please. So Michael Oliver is the number one ref. Right, we're gonna go through the rules and then we'll say goodnight for the night. So, as we know, for 2021 season's back with features number of new laws, serve rules. So we're going to start with countdowns for goal kicks and throw-ins. Most of the new laws brought in are aimed at reducing time wasting. So this is about players who deliberately delay the restart of play, so a countdown does not begin as soon as the ball goes out of play. Any tackle which can be judged as a disruption play, including leaving the ball on a cone or dropping the ball for a teammate, could trigger a countdown. The referees will blow the whistle to tell the players to hurry up and to signal the start of the 5 seconds, while they will visible making a count by moving an arm up and down. If the time runs out, the referee will blow the whistle again and give the throw to the other team. The new rule will not cover setting up long throws, as these considered to be set-piece routines, but the countdown may start once the player are in position. Time length for substitutions. Another big one is substitutions for time length. Right. Substitution players have 10 seconds to leave the field at the nearest point. So, I was saying, players will have 10 seconds to leave the field at the nearest point. If they fail to do so, the substitutions can't enter the field for at least 1 minute, and the team must play with 10 players. Middlesbrough was the first team to be punished in the Carabao Cup tie against Wrexham. The substitutions have to stay off until the next break in play, so a team could be left with 10 players for several minutes. Next one is injured players must now go off for 1 minute. Fans have been used to players staying off the field for 30 seconds after the physio has been on the pitch, but now the time has been upped to 1 minute, and it's more stricter too. A player must go off. They cause the ref to stop the game, even if they do not request treatment. The player tried to break up the opposition yeah. If it will not apply if a player down and the ball naturally goes out of play for a throw-in or goal kick. There are some concerns that 1 minute is too long, as it could penalise players who are generally injured. There are harmful exceptions when it's not applied. If the players who have committed a foul get a yellow card or red card, the injured player will now just not have to stay off in circumstances. To reduce for tackling bad challenges to get a team may reduce for 10 men. Next one want to watch how to deliver the ball in the area. That's another big one for the season. So, in the modern era, the trend to take a shot goal kick inside the box rather than punching it. The usually involvement 1 or 2 defenders inside the penalty area, along with the goalkeeper. There have been a few confusion situations where it has not been clear if a goal kick has been taken. A defender then handles the ball. From this season, there will be a considered approach across all competitions. Now, if the ball is kicked by the goalkeeper or defender, the goal kick will be viewed as have been taken. Any touch of the ball with the hand or arm by a defender will be a penalty or a free kick for a back pass if it is the goalkeeper. Finally, more VAR, because we have to walk up. There are a couple of new VAR areas for fans to look out for, but not as many as the walk up. Players sent off for 2 yellow cards. VAR will not be able to look at the second calls for players to show a red card. They can't be reviewed for possible second booking for a player on a yellow. It has been clear error to give the foul and will not be subject to differences of options about the card. Attacking foul before the ball is in play. So as part of the trial, there can be a VAR review if there's a foul before a set piece and direct leads to a goal. What won't be changing, unlike at the World Cup, there'll be no VAR interruptions, incorrect corners, red cards for players who cover their mouths. So they have new rules. So we are going to wrap up for the night. So it's coming up. So tomorrow we'll be down at the MKM Stadium for Hull City against Man United. 11:15 we'll be on there for that one. 12:30 kickoff. Tomorrow we'll have a map of the grounds at 2:15 for you. At 3 o'clock we'll be at the Hill Dixon Stadium for Everton Palace at 3 o'clock. 5:30 Spurs Brentford. Make sure you get in for pony competition. Correct. 6 correct scores, including for the game tonight. You go into 3 o'clock center, you can win up to £500. You can also play fans, blah 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 blah. But that is it from us. We will see you tomorrow morning at the MKM Stadium for Hull United. But from here, it's been a night that the Gunners will forget. It's a night that the Gunners will celebrate for years as they begin their title defensive win. Take care, bye bye. Bye bye.